What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Boutique podcast. That's right. This is the Geek Boutique. We are the Geeks Company. My name is JS. And of course, as always, my co-hosts, Mr. Geoff. How you doing, first of all?
Mr. Geoff, you're late by a minute. Christina.
Yes, we're pulling
She's the best kind of friend that just jumps all over you when you're a minute late. I love her.
We're doing our best Michael Myers impression today.
That's right. Rob and I did jump over Mike Myers for the same thing. So, yeah, we got talking about our own thing. If you guys don't know, you guys probably don't because it's got nothing to do with real. Oh, we're going to be filming content, so it is like channel related. But I'm heading to go see these guys tomorrow for the whole weekend. I'm going to be there Friday night till Sunday morning, and we got some ideas planned to film some content for you guys to post on the channel. So keep your eyes peeled for that kind of stuff. Rob the Bad Mofo, what's going on, buddy?
Can I just say that intro? I want to say this every time is a banger, right? It's a banger.
What, the Geek Boutique intro? You the
Geek Boutique intro? Yeah,
you think so?
I think so. On the way in, it's like.
Yeah, you know why? Because you're new. JS and I have been listening to it for 170 fucking episodes now.
Yeah, I said like 2 years ago I was going to change it, and they still haven't.
Just haven't.
You know, instead I've been making all these crazy little intros for
segments.
This new segmented format of our show. So maybe one day I'll get to making an intro. Actually, we're going to have a new segment today. I don't have an intro for it yet, unfortunately. We are.
Nobody tells me nothing.
Yeah, well, calling it Overthinking It. For those that need to know more, Overthinking It's pretty simple. It's where we give us our thoughts on movies and trailers and TV shows and stuff happening in geek fandom. If you've not clicked the like and subscribe button, please, this is the time. We haven't started yet. Costs you nothing. It'll make sure every time we go live. Well, actually, if you click the notification bell, it'll make sure it notifies you every time we go live. I did get a comment from some people last week or someone specifically last week that, oh yeah, I always forget when you guys go, the community news intro. Oh yeah, that's coming, buddy. Don't worry about it, Andrew. Community news intro is coming. But I did get
so good
a comment from one person last week that she always misses the beginning of the show because she never realized, oh shit, it's Thursday night at 7 p.m. because we no longer go live on Instagram, so she doesn't get her notification on her phone that we're going live. But if you've got the little bell clicked in YouTube, it'll let you know.
Turn your notifications on YouTube for our channel specifically. Turn those.
Yeah,
you'll know when we go live.
Yeah. Now I did go live for a quick few seconds there on Instagram just to let everybody know that we were going live. But yeah, click that notification bell. Beyond that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out over here. We're gonna have a special guest next week. Do we want to talk about that right now?
Stun Sound. We can talk about anything you want.
Why don't we leave it for the end? It's a good way to kick off the show.
Yeah, we can do that. But we do have a special guest next week. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
I got a little inside baseball that we can talk about a little bit.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
We recently had our first preliminary meeting for May the 4th. Correct. So we did a remote meeting only. It was online. We spoke with the fine folks at London Brewing Co-op. Plans are in place. We've made some decisions. There's still some things that are sort of like up in the works and such, but it is happening again this year, guys. Please note a couple of things I want to make clear. We're going to be hitting this like again and again and again and again. It is this year, May the 3rd. Not May the 4th. May the 4th is a Sunday. We're not going to expect everybody to come in on May the 4th on a Sunday. So we are doing it on May the 3rd. And as we've talked about ad nauseum, some of the things that we're doing are for charity. In particular,
well, it is a charity event, right?
It is a charity event, but I want to make sure people, apparently there was some confusion last year as to what monies were going where as far as the charities went. So just to reiterate really quickly, 100% of the raffle ticket sales.
You'll get there, buddy. You'll get there.
Wept. 100% of the raffle ticket sales and 100% of the vendor table fees all going to charity. 50 cents from every can of the specially brewed beer also going to charity. The pours, the keg pours, there's 3 different glass sizes. The pours, the yield in the pours is not always exact. There's no way for them to really track and figure out the pours. So They were clear about it last year. I thought we were clear about it last year too, but apparently there was some confusion. So this year, just make sure you guys know 50 cents per can sold. I can tell you though, there are going to be at least twice as many cans this year.
Well, at least we're hoping they're going to be at least double the amount of cans.
That Tuscan Sun beer again. Why the Twin Suns beer that we suggested design the label for and sold at the thing?
Very good beer.
It was a very good beer. Yes, that is the plan. Little spilling of the beans. The plan is to bring the same bear back again this year. So that light lemon lager was so good. I think that's what it was called. Brain isn't braining. Hey, it was like 10 months ago, Tiffany. You're forgiven. It's not a problem.
Yeah, it was the light lemon. Do I have it here?
You're bringing it back. Same one.
We're bringing the same beer back. Yep.
Yeah.
There will be a design change. I'm not going to tell you what that is.
Yeah,
right
don't
now. I'm
say
going to make you guys
yet.
wait.
Yeah.
But there will be enough of a design change that you'll be able to tell the 2024 beer from the 2025 beer.
100%.
Keep your eyes peeled for that kind of thing.
Is it just you two guys doing this?
Well, I mean,
that's hilarious.
As cool as that would be, twin guns with these twin sons. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no.
But just so you guys know, it is absolutely happening. We're hoping that everybody comes out again, buy the beer, play the games, have some fun. We are going to be taking a couple things away. We're going to be adding a couple things in. We're still working on the details, and when we know everything, we'll let you guys know. But get ready, kids. We're less than 3 months away, so.
Yeah, it is happening for sure. I mean, some of the detail, we always want to talk about a lot of these details, and we want to make sure everybody's on board right away. And then right at the beginning of this, so the more people will come, the more people have fun, the more we raise for charity. Some of the details that we sometimes talk about this early in the process could change a little bit.
That's right.
Right. So
be a little bit cautious.
Yeah. So we're saying stuff, but just understand that things could change, right?
They could. Yes.
The plan is to bring back the same beer.
Yes. The plan is to have it on May the 3rd, and the plan is still to do it for charity.
Yes. And the plan is to have more beer.
Yes. The plan is to have more beer. Yes. We got that directly from the brewery. So I think
Double
that one will be okay. So,
well, I think they were a little bit shocked that we were able to sell out. So the first year, so let's read.
Tiffany's saying as long as it tastes the same, because
that's the plan.
That was amazing. Best beer I've ever had.
Yeah, that's the plan. Yep. I think the idea is to make, so the first year we made they have a prototype system, a prototyping system, right? Where they can make a pilot system, a small batch, so that you could try it out. And they did that for us the first year. So there was a lot of beer, but it was a very small batch. And we sold that out in 4 hours.
Correct.
And then last year they made like a good size batch.
Yep.
And which was much larger than the first year. And that sold out in 3 hours.
It sure did.
So this year they're like, we're making double the beer because, we want to have beer all night. They also want to, and I don't know if I should say this.
Then don't. We're still early times. We still got some details to work out.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll keep some of that. But yeah, there's gonna be more beer. There's gonna be more beer.
There's gonna be more beer. That one we can pretty much confirm at this point.
Yeah,
and like I said,
one way or another,
the vendors will be back as well. So I've already been in touch with a bunch of them. So I still can't. Hey, if anybody has any contact with the gentleman at TVX,
Trevor
reached out. I can't. It doesn't necessarily have to be Trevor. It could be Trevor. It could be Chris. It could be any of them. Really, at this point, they were there for last year at the event table. Trying to get a hold of them for this year. Haven't heard anything back. If anybody has personal touch, please just have them reach out to us on Instagram. Let us know.
Yeah, I've reached out to Trevor both on the main TVX account and on his personal account, and I haven't heard back either. So
yeah,
hoping they're all okay and everything's good. But yeah, I found it weird as well, like to not hear anything back.
Either way, just that way I know. We've already had a couple of people drop out from the vendor table, and I've already had at least one person come in. Actually, I think she's in the channel right now. So Toxic Fox is going to be coming in with
very cool. Very
cool. Vendors. Yeah, going to join us there this year. We're not. I don't think we're clashing with. I think it was Shockstock that we kind of clashed with last year, and that's why some of them couldn't come out. But I think Shockstock's in a different weekend this year. So microphone.
Not sure what that means. Sorry, Jen.
Is this bumper stumpers? What do we? I don't know. What, yes, Ice Voice. She will also be one of the vendors. Ali will be back selling.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yep.
Tiffany's saying Trevor has been very MIA. So yeah, okay. Well, at least we know.
I'd love to learn more about vendor tables. Reach out to our Instagram accounts, Can Geek Games, by all means. I can tell you now, it's $50 for the table for the day. All 50 of that goes directly to Ronald McDonald House Charity, so we don't keep a dime of it. You can do with the table anything you want, sell pretty much anything you'd like. If it's going to be like perishable foodstuffs or whatever, then let me know. But otherwise, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem with whatever it is you're looking to sell. And we run the event from 3 o'clock until 10 o'clock on this year, May the 3rd. So reach out. We'd love to have you on board.
Same day as Comic Book Day.
Yep.
It's free Comic Book Day. And it being on May the 3rd, we're actually, I'm working on the logo actually. Well, not as we speak, but I already showed kind of my first revision.
More than fair at 50. Yeah, thanks, man. We wanted to keep it at a reasonable price and just make sure that people knew like you got a chance to make your money back and you are donating all of it to a good cause. So
now, I mean, let's be honest here, guys. If some of the vendors want to donate for the raffles, they want to donate money for the charity. I mean, the more we can do, the more money we raise. I mean, like this is Ronald McDonald House Charities. I mean, I don't know of a better charity and a better organization where the money actually goes to good use, right? There's so many of these organizations where you give to and there's so many levels of bureaucrats that get paid for pennies on the dollar to go to actual charity. Ronald McDonald House actually does good work with
it's like high 90% of every dollar spent. So
and let's be honest, like I'll tell you this, and Rob the Bad Guy can attest to this from his own experience. When you have a kid that is at Sick Kids and you're from out of town and your kid has to stay there for an extended stay, Ronald McDonald House has saved people, like saved families, literally saved families.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Christina's asking about booth. Unfortunately, I still don't have anything.
You'll know when we know, guys. You'll be the first. We'll all post about it. We'll talk about it on the pod. We'll probably go live like on fucking Instagram when we find out. We're just as impatiently waiting as you guys are. You've seen what we're bringing now. You know what it is why we're so geared up and ready to do this con. We want to bring the Iron Throne for as many of you as possible. We are going to be bringing it Toronto Game Expo 2 weeks after Toronto Comic Con. So we've been in touch with them to make sure we have appropriate space to bring that. So if you don't get a chance to see it at Toronto Comic Con because for whatever reason they don't give us a booth, you can wait 2 weeks and you can come to Toronto Game Expo at the X and you can see it there. And
it'll be there for sure.
It'll be there.
Yeah. It'll be at Game Expo for sure.
Silent auction of donated items, and maybe it will still probably do it raffle style, Ali. But I haven't talked to the vendors in the group yet, just because it's only 3 months away. It's still 3 months away, but and I've only got 4 or 5 vendors that have confirmed so far. But yes, I will be putting it out to the vendors if they want to donate goods towards the raffle for the charity. By all means, they're welcome to do so. Anywho. The news, Christina is saying. Are you wanting to hear some?
The news. Well, then let's do it. It's time for the news.
This is the news, brought to you by the Geeks and Company, the only place you'll find justice for Biff. This week in the news, our top story. Unless you've been living on Mars in a cave with your eyes shut and your fingers in your ears, Marvel Studios dropped the first teaser trailer for the Fantastic Four First Steps. In a recent update, I think that came out today, it tracked about 200 million views in the first 24 hours across all platforms. Still behind something like Deadpool and Wolverine, but for a brand, well, actually, I'm saying a brand new property. It's the 5th movie. Well, but for a new launch as far as the MCU goes, that's not too bad. I'm still not convinced.
Well, we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Well, it's the news. I'm trying to get my opinion on the news. God damn it.
Well, we can talk about it now. Yeah, for sure. If you want to get into it now, we can totally do that because I've got a lot of.
I can go through the news items. Let me get through the news items first, and then maybe we can circle back to that. I know you want to play your new intro, and I don't want to take that away from you.
No, I don't have a new intro. Is the thing.
I thought you had an intro for overthinking it.
Intro.
That's what I said.
Did you say you had an intro for it?
I just don't have an intro yet.
This is getting worse all the time.
Oh, you guys.
A couple of rumors that I want to throw out there as well. Apparently, Henry Cavill is being eyed up for a significant Star Wars role, a villain role, possibly in the however many films are currently in development, in plans, in the works. Apparently, talks have happened. They want to get him in Star Wars, and they want him to play a baddie. I don't know if they would have a new character for him to play that would be a bad guy, or if they would try to shoehorn him into some sort of an existing role. I mean, I'm all about some Cavill. I don't have any issue with that. I think he's collecting IPs now, right? He's been Superman. He's been Wolverine.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's a rumor every 3 days about Cavill gonna be in something new.
In something,
like, he's in everything now.
I mean, he's been confirmed to be leading the Highlander reboot, which is supposed to be coming soon, and he's been confirmed to be working with Amazon Prime on the Warhammer 40K series. So it seems like he's already got a pretty full plate. So whatever he'd be doing, I would assume it'd be some kind of a one-off and not some, large 7-film deal or whatever. But hey, man, I don't know. That Disney money comes calling, man. If they can get Christian Bale to be the bad guy in Thor 4, I mean, I feel like they can just get anybody to be in anything if they just drive a dump truck full of money up to their house, right? So about a month ago, apparently there was a report that Chris Evans would be reprising the role of Captain America in Avengers Doomsday. And for a month, nobody said anything. And then apparently they asked Anthony Mackie about it. And Anthony Mackie was like, I don't think he is, because nobody told me. And I called him specifically, and he said he wasn't. And then Evans came out and said, I am not in Avengers Doomsday. So
Tobey Maguire wasn't going to be in Spider-Man whatever.
No, I'm in Secret Wars, not Doomsday.
Yeah. He was very clear to say, because the original report did say Doomsday is when he'd be back, and he was very clear to say, no, I am not going to be in Avengers Doomsday. So that doesn't rule him out for Secret Wars, but apparently we're scratching him off for Doomsday.
Right.
I get it with him. He's been very, very adamant that the role is very precious to him, and he doesn't want to kind of like besmirch the way he went out just to bring it back for just a cameo or a one-off or whatever. And I actually respect that. Like, if you're going to bring Cap back, it would have to be in such a way that it makes a logical sense, not whatever the balls are doing with RDJ and Doctor Doom. But
I'd rather see Cap back in a show where what he's doing, he's returning all the stones, right? That's how I'd rather see
it. Yes. No, that would be cool. Chris Evans says he's retired from that role specifically. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if you could have a whole show, multiple seasons built around the adventures of Captain America trying to return all the stones through different time.
Well, the funniest one would be the Soul Stones, right?
But you can make a whole season per stone if you wanted.
Because the Soul Stone it's Red Skull that guards the Soul Stone, which is the villain in Captain America: The First Avenger. So him trying to give that stone back. I think
that should be the first one.
100%.
Right? That should be
or that's the finale, is him going to try to get the Soul Stone to go back or whatever. Excuse me.
Like Wolverine. He's retired like Wolverine. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Another rumor that's circling the internet right now is that Disney has convinced Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine in some way, shape, or form for the next 10 years.
Well, they said it in the movie, right?
Well, in the movie, he was like,
"Just till you're 90."
But I mean, that would take Hugh into his mid to late 60s if that's what he's going to do.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, we've already seen an old man Logan in Logan, so I mean, I don't know how they would. I mean, he looked shredded in Deadpool and Wolverine, but I mean, there's only so long. There's only so many, cocktails that you can mix up to get you to look like that for so long.
You're 90.
So you're saying they signed him for 10 more years?
The rumor is that he's signed to play Wolverine for at least 10 more years. So I don't know what that means as far as recasting the role goes. I don't know if they're just not going to bother with it and they're just going to shoehorn him into, I don't know how any of that, again, rumor only, guys. None of this has been confirmed, so take it with a grain of salt, but that's part of what the news is. It's rumors.
Well, I think if they go the Fantastic Four type of route, the X-Men series that we're going to get is probably going to be a spawn of Secret Wars, right? So it probably won't be a main universe, or there'll be maybe a new universe, a new combined thing. Like Secret Wars, the rumor is they're going to Flashpoint the shit out of Secret Wars, right? And they're going to restart a new MCU after Secret Wars, built out of different realities, right? So if they do that, they could still have him as Wolverine, but like Deadpool's version of Wolverine while recasting the role in their new X-Men franchise.
Right. Speaking
you know
of,
what I mean?
It's a good segue. It is, again, this one's a little more than a rumor because apparently it was shown in some type of I don't know, Hollywood production thing or whatever, but the X-Men reboot may be beginning to film as early as this October. Even though there's been no news of a completed script or recasting of any of the roles, apparently something got leaked or released about some type of whatever that would indicate that it's being filmed to start filming this October.
It seems unlikely. I can't imagine that between now and October they would have a script and a cast hired, and you know what? Maybe they were able to keep it all under wraps, and maybe they're.
So Marvel has two currently untitled films set for 2027 after Secret Wars hits in May, one for July 23rd and the other for November 5th. The November one is believed to be the X-Men reboot, and now a new listing on the Film and Television Industry Alliance database production list indicates that the project is aiming to begin shooting in the UK on October 6th.
So there you go.
It indicates the Wheel of Time showrunner Rafe Judkins and the Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes scribe Michael Leslie are attached as writers. Both were rumored to be in contention back in May of last year, with Leslie thought to have won out. So, as I said, this one is not just a blind rumor. I mean, there's some actual listings that seem to indicate that this is what's happening. So I don't know if they do start filming late 2025, it would make sense that it would mean a summer 2027 release for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
they're done playing with all the
it would work
kind of stuff. So
yeah.
What else have we got? New Game of Thrones spinoff coming into HBO later this year. It's called Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It is only 6 episodes, and the series writer George R.R. Martin has been very clear on this one. This is not similar to either House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones. It's not much battles and many action set pieces and dragons and many different houses stabbing each other back. I guess this one is very much a character piece about just these two, Dunk and Egg, Sir Duncan the Tall and Aegon Targaryen. It's their sort of adventures throughout Westeros. This does take place, I think, even before House of the Dragon does. So timeline wise, it's yet another goddamn prequel, which fuck that. But if you're looking for something that's a little more toned down than even House of the Dragon is, apparently this is going to be the show for you.
Is J.R.R. Martin responsible for writing this, or?
Yeah, so he's published, I think, 3. They're novellas, so they're like 100 or 150 pages. It's called The Adventures of Dunk and Egg or whatever. So there's 3 of them right now, and Night of the Seven Kingdoms is the first novella in that little series.
Interesting.
So, so we'll see what happens.
So we may get more of this story. It just may be called something different, is what you're saying.
Maybe. Yes, that's
right.
Depending on how well the first
season. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I haven't heard a whole lot about it, but
I've read the Dunk and Egg stories, and they're great for what they are, for exactly kind of what he's talking about. Like a lot of the political intrigue and action pieces and stuff, it's not really in there. It really is just a tale of these two guys meeting up on the road together and becoming friends, and then sort of their adventures. It's kind of like one of those, a lot of the huge political machinations are kind of happening around them, but instead of getting the point of view of the people that are deeply involved in those political machinations, you're getting it from these two kind of losers off to the side. So it's a different way of looking at it. You're not in the house of the nobles with the kings and the princes and the lords, and it's just this hedge knight basically, and this fifth son of a fifth son or whatever from the Targaryen line. So they're just nobodies, and it's their perspective on all this shit going around them, and they're more worried about like getting their sword sharpened or getting their mutton cooked or whatever, right? Like it's not that bad, but you know what I mean. It's not. Yeah, it's a little more low key. Anyways, Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. Jess, why don't you put that news piece in? Why? Because you've been loving punching down on this thing since its inception. So why don't you take this one?
This blew my mind. In September of 2022, Disney opened up Galactic Star Cruiser, the brand new Star Wars hotel that cost them apparently over $1 billion to build. Okay, $1 billion. It opened on September 2022. It closed in May 2023.
That's how bad it did.
It wasn't even open for a full year. It's not even that it was bad, is that it was so overpriced that it was
nobody could afford to stay there.
What's the idea? Like, why would I spend $5,000 to stay in a hotel for 2 nights that doesn't look like Star Wars? Right? Like, they don't understand. Well, listen, now after spending $1 billion on this hotel, they've turned it into office space.
Return to office.
They've turned Galactic Star Cruiser into office space. So yeah, don't think you're going to be going to the Disney Hotel anymore, guys, because it's gone. No bueno.
Last but not least, on the news front, Matthew Lillard is confirmed to be coming back for Scream 7. So he was one of, like, I'm not big on the Scream franchise, but he was one of the baddies.
He
in the
was
first
one
film,
of the
right?
original baddies in the first film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Matthew Lillard in general, and
yeah, same.
I'm happy to see him back in that movie, even though I don't know, you're not big into the Scream series.
No, I watched the first one. I want to say maybe I saw the second one, and I was just like,
some of them were bad, like anything that's going like 7 movies long. But
yeah,
happy to see him back.
Yeah, we got to meet him and Skeet Ulrich, the two Ghostface.
Oh yeah, that's
two guys that comprise Ghostface. We got to meet him.
We were in
Inner Predators.
Yeah.
We did a photo op with them, Inner Predators. That was pretty funny. Actually, that was Teresa. Teresa's the one that bought the photo op, and she's like, "Do you guys want to come?" And I'm like, "Fucking right, I want to come."
Is this one of those trick questions?
Yeah. So that was awesome. So we got to meet him for all of 3.5 seconds. But when they saw us, they were like, "Ee, what the hell?" Yeah. Took a picture, and even in the picture, Matthew Lillard's like, "Yeah, what the fuck is going on here?" And then they scooted us out, and that was that. But yeah, I'm not against him coming back if it makes sense. I was under the impression he got shot and died in the first movie.
Oh, he totally had like a TV thrown on his head. I read into that a little bit. It almost looks like maybe it might be more like flashbacks where he appears.
Right.
So he might be coming back, but appearing in flashbacks, perhaps, or
are they gonna like de-age him then because he's like 30 years
I don't
older?
know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
we'll
either.
See how it turns out.
Yeah, I'm not against him coming back. I mean, he launched that series, right? Like that crew, that OG crew. I mean, they made waves in the horror genre when that came out. So yeah, I'm not against him coming back. You did skip over a couple pieces of news though. Did you purposely do that, or
Cavill, Evans? Oh, sorry. Sorry. My apologies. There are 2 more quick pieces. My apologies. Fans of The Sandman, the series on Netflix. The first season was fantastic. The second season is already in the can and is going to be aired, and then the series is going to be canceled. If you're wondering why, not to get too deep into this because it's pretty dark and terrible, but the creator of the original comic property, Neil Gaiman, has been hit with a bunch of allegations of sexual misconduct. So as a result, a lot of projects that are based on his work, especially since some of those projects like this one, like Good Omens, he had some direct influence on, like as an executive producer or whatever, are now being cut, canned, canceled, whatever. In fact, Good Omens is going to come back. Instead of for a 3rd and final season, it's going to be a shortened movie. They're going to do the 3rd season as a film, and then Good Omens is finished as well.
Really? So, that's such a good show, man. You know what? If you guys have a chance to go check out their YouTube, they have a YouTube channel together, and David Tennant and Michael Sheen are real life best friends.
Yes,
and the chemistry in the show, you could tell that they're real life best friends. The chemistry is so good, and it really translates into their YouTube. They're so funny.
Yeah, I've seen some of that content. I'm not going to lie to you. I've tried getting into Good Omens on 3 separate occasions, and all 3 I just couldn't get into it.
Really?
Yeah, I know. And I love them both too, Michael Sheen and Dave Tennant. I get it, but I just could not get into that show. It just didn't click with me any of the times I tried to watch. But again, for fans of The Sandman, by the way, The Sandman comics itself was one of the most like celebrated comic book runs in the history of any time forever. And that's why people were chomping at the bit to get, 75 issues run. It was done through the Vertigo imprint, so it wasn't beholden to the Comics Code. So they were allowed to be a lot more like edgy and a lot more, graphic with it and such. But it's just, it introduced a lot of the Endless. It introduced a lot of really cool aspects and things. And then, unfortunately, allegedly, Neil Gaiman's a piece of shit. So all the studios are like, well, we can't be seen with this guy. I guess now he has been formally charged with something as well. So
I've not heard any of this. I didn't even realize it was the same creator that did the Good Omens and Sandman. So
yes.
I mean, Good Omens wasn't a comic book. Good Omens was a series of books, wasn't it?
So Gaiman and Terry Pratchett worked together to write Good Omens. Terry Pratchett has since passed on. Season 2 was based on ideas that him and Gaiman had for another book in the series, so that they had something to go by to make the second season, which I've heard is not quite as good as the first, but
it's not nearly as good as the first. No,
but American Gods, also based on Neil Gaiman's work, that's based on a novel that he wrote. So
really,
I don't know if they're planning on bringing Coraline, also based on Neil Gaiman's work. Neil Gaiman's one of like the most preeminent novelists and comic book writers of the last like 30 years or whatever. A lot of his stuff gets translated, but I don't think any of it's going to get translated anymore. Finally, guys, last piece of news. I did skip over this one really quickly. If in fact our boy Keith L there that's chiming in may be interested in this, the new Superman film may be blocked on a not quite a global release, but anything that's considered part of the British Commonwealth. So that would be the UK, Canada, Australia, and one other nation that I'm blanking on right now. May not get a release for Superman. There have been issues between Warner Brothers and DC Studios and DC, in general, and the Schuster estate. So Jerry Siegel and Joel Schuster were the two gentlemen that originally created Superman all the way back in 1937. I believe the Schuster estate has a bit more say over what happens with the property, and I guess the way the IP works right now, there's something going on within. They're not being consulted or consented to anything that's going on, and apparently they have something in writing in a contract that indicates that they may be able to block its release from happening in the British Commonwealth nations, of which Canada is one. So
I think so. I did a bit of reading on that, and I think it had to do with like in how the rights got transferred over.
Yes,
Warner Brothers or whoever. It had a clause in it where it was like after so long, 25 years, it transfers back to the original people there. What I forget the name that you said. Schuster. So rather than go back and get permission or the rights to be able to put this movie out, they just kept doing it, right?
Yes.
I think that's where the issue lies, in the fact that like they didn't give them permission to do that. And they're like, fuck you, we're doing it anyway.
Yeah. So it's not the DC rights that are the issue, it's the Warner Brothers rights.
Well, that Warner Brothers owns DC, so I would assume.
Yeah, but I would assume if they have a publication like DC Comics probably has a different deal than Warner Brothers movies.
Perhaps, yeah. Could it be? Yeah,
right. Very likely. But even then, they've had some
even for the TV shows.
Back in 2018, DC Comics was no longer allowed to use the term Superboy. In fact, they had a comic that was currently out, Infinity Crisis, that was featured Superboy Prime, and they actually had to change it to Superman Prime because they couldn't use the term Superboy because, again, some sort of a rights issue with the Schuster estate. They did end up working it out, but for a few months there was no Superboy in DC Comics because they weren't allowed to use the name. So
interesting.
It's when you've got a property this old, like we're coming up on near 100 damn years, the property's been around. The rights issues are so convoluted at this point. It's hard to know what's real and what's not. But anyways, that's the news, guys. Ta-da.
What's the time for now?
I don't know. What's the time for now?
I don't know. Rob, do you know what time it's?
I think it's time for community news. That's right. Do you know how I don't know about you guys, but I was laughing for like 3 days solid after that.
Believe me, bud. I've Silky did a reel, and I probably rewatched it 100 times, bud. And every time I was laughing. It was so good. It's so good.
All right, so coming up in the community news, so VonCon, which I don't think takes place till later in the summer, has announced an interesting guest, which will hit home with probably a lot of people. Bret the Hitman Hart has been announced as a guest at VonCon this year, which is very cool. I'm interested in that one. Are we going to be there?
We are.
Maybe we're going to be there.
Yeah,
that'll be cool. Hoping we get to talk to him maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to work something out for us to do something with him. I tried to see if we could do like host a Q&A or do an interview, or they already have somebody lined up for the Q&A, but we might be able to get him for like maybe we can do an actual video with him, have him at our booth for a few minutes and do an interview or something. We'll listen. Yeah, we'll figure something out. I'm sure we'll be able to do something with him. I'd be real annoyed if Bret Hart was in the same building as us and we weren't able to have access to him for even 5 minutes. I would be real mad. I would love to meet him, shake his hand, and you know, just
get put in the sharpshooter. Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I'll let him. You know,
body slam me, Bret. Body slam me. Stephanie Panicello, is that how you say it? Panicello has been announced as a guest for Toronto Game Expo. She is a voice actress. Some of the notes we have here from Resident Evil, played Claire Renfield in both the games and the Netflix show. Betty Ross in What If, and Cloud Retainer in Genshin Impact.
Yeah, that's what the kids mostly know her for, I'm assuming.
Genshin Impact, yeah. I think that spans a bunch of different genres there where people might know her from.
So she's been confirmed. We're potentially going to be doing a live interview. We've already confirmed with Matt Taylor on one of the 2 days of Toronto Game Expo. We may do like a voice actor panel on the other day. So we would still be another Geek Boutique live audience experience, but with, you know, 3 or 4 different live actors that are going to be voice actors that are going to be at the show. Right. So that might be interesting as well. So
that'll be cool.
Keep your eyes open, you know, for the Geeks & Co account. I'm going to be announcing some stuff as we get closer and closer to Game Expo weekend. But yeah.
Yeah, every week I'm sure we'll have some new news on Game Expo for you. Coming up this weekend, taking place in Oakville, is another little small con called I think it's Compass Con, taking place in Oakville. They have some very cool. I was checking them out today. Gargoyle cosplayers that are going to be coming. Are they doing a live action Gargoyles movie?
I heard they were, but I don't know what I don't know if that's still in the works. If that's still I
hope so.
I don't really know.
I love that show. That show was
so did I.
Yeah, that show was.
There were so many alums from TNG too.
Yeah, it helps that Riker and Troy and Brett Spiner and Worf, and they were all on this show, right?
Great toys. Yeah.
Oh, the toys were awesome. I was too old for toys, and I still bought the toys. They were so cool.
We still have some somewhere, I think, or my brother has them. But so at Compass Con, there's going to be some familiar faces like Queen Harley and Roadside Media.
Somebody clip that blah blah blah. Make sure you clip that in there.
Overthinking it. Blah 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 blah.
So good.
Rotide is going to be at Compass Con doing some mini shoots, and he's also going to be at the next one.
Guys, if you haven't had a chance to work with Justin, Rotide Media, absolutely go see him, get some pictures. He is amazing. He's got to be the hottest thing to come to cosplay in 2024. Like,
he seemed to be everywhere, and everybody's got some of the dopest shots. Don't get me wrong, there are tons of amazing photographers, but you're right. He
came out of nowhere and really he's amazing.
RKO to nowhere.
There was just a Hoth shoot this past weekend. I've been seeing some of the photos, so your Instagram is going to be blowing up here over the next couple of weeks, I imagine. With
the Hoth
some of those photos, there's lots of people there. The following weekend at Tricon in the Waterloo area will feature Captain Daddy and Friends here, also known as Capes and Chaos.
Idiot.
No, I don't have my Captain
Good,
Daddy shirt
fuck
on.
you. That's right. It's not Captain Daddy and Friends, you jackass. It is the Cape for Chaos.
My
God damn it. Why? Why are you like this?
Also coming out next weekend. I felt like this maybe belonged more in the news, but obviously Captain America: Brave New World is coming out next weekend, and we are already seeing tons of cosplay in the making. But yeah, I expect to see a lot more coming out after that movie.
Are we excited? Is anybody going to see it?
Are
we excited for this one?
It's Valentine's Day weekend, and it's not
Brave
my
New World?
Valentine's Day movie that I'm taking my wife to. But other than that,
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it. Will I pay to go see it in theaters? I mean, there's so
Digital
many other
download.
Marvel movies I haven't paid to go see in theaters lately that I don't. I'm not as invested as I used to be. I'll admit in the MCU right now. Maybe shame on me for saying that, but
I get it. I'm getting more interested or more excited maybe in what's to come here. Maybe that's because of the phase change and themes are changing. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go pay to see this one in theater.
I like that they're launching Red Hulk. I'm hoping we're going to see more of the Red Hulk, and if they were going to replace what was his name? The guy that played the general before?
Oh, William Hurt.
William Hurt. Thank you.
Yeah.
If they're gonna replace William Hurt, I feel like Harrison Ford was a pretty good place to go with. I love Harrison Ford.
Don't hate me for this, but I feel like, knock on wood here, they're gonna have. I'm not sure how soon they're gonna need to replace Red Hulk again, if you know what I mean. The general again. Like how old is Harrison getting here?
Yeah, I mean, I
let's find out, shall we?
I feel like one of those things where if we get Red Hulk, we're probably not going to get. Once the Red Hulk comes, we're probably not going to get much more Harrison Ford after that.
Yeah.
Right, Jeff.
No.
Don't start.
No,
don't start.
No,
don't start.
No. Well, don't say things like once the Red Hulk comes. Why would you say it like that? Why didn't you?
What color would it be?
Like that? Once the Red Hulk comes, come on, man.
Crystal's saying he's like 78 years old. Exactly, right?
No, he's not. He's 82.
82. Well, there you go. I don't think we're going to get much of Harrison Ford. The Red Hulk's going to show up, and then there's going to be a reason why he can't turn back into into himself, and then it's just going to be a CGI character from now on, I think.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we will indeed.
And the last bit of news here I have, I'm not sure if everyone's going to know who I'm speaking about, but Doug's Winter Party is also next weekend on the 15th from 4 p.m. until the cops come. See you there. And that is the community news. No, you didn't get it, eh? Let's see if anyone in the chat does. I don't know. Anyway, Doug's Winter Party is on the 15th, 4 p.m. until the cops come.
Okay. Interesting.
Surprised you don't know what that is, but
I don't know what that is.
Unfortunately, we don't have a little intro for this next segment yet, but we are going to be moving on to Overthinking, where we start analyzing and breaking down and giving our thoughts about these different franchise and properties, and specifically today, the Fantastic Four trailer. I'm assuming everybody in the chat has seen the trailer. Like 250 million fucking people have seen the trailer.
He's a sweet old man. Yeah, just Google it, guys. You
yeah. Thank you to the people in the chat.
I don't know what it is. I don't know where you're seeing it. I'm guessing it's maybe a TikTok thing because I'm not on
just
TikTok.
Like flat. Yeah, it's a period in time meme that's going around right now in the last 24 hours.
I got you. All right, now we're good.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
The sweet old man.
He does look like a
captured on camera, on a Ring camera, going to his neighbors saying, "If a handwritten note, I'm having a party next weekend. It's on the 15th, and you're invited. It's from 4 p.m. until the cops come."
And he's gonna end up with like 3 million people.
He's gonna So now it's like he's gonna have like 100,000 people show up.
Oh yeah, poor guy. It's not gonna. Probably not gonna end very well for him, but
the cops are gonna come.
Fantastic Four. What was your initial thoughts, first of all, before we get into the details and all the little breakdowns and Easter eggs and different things about this movie? What were your generic thoughts about this trailer? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Does this look cool to you? Not? Like, what do you think? Jeff.
Yeah, I was like, yes, Jeff, right?
I always go, no, he just threw it out. I always go first. Rob, what do you think?
Well, my initial attitude going in was like, oh, here we go. Another Fantastic Four movie. This will be lame. I don't like, in general, even before this movie, I'm not a big fan of the decor from that period in time. So I didn't like visually how it stood out. Really, it was once we got to the Galactus part where you see the shadow in the back of his head, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I went back and rewatched it. And I've probably watched it 7 or 8 times now. And now I'm excited about the whole damn thing. It's completely changed my mind. I'm really looking forward to this now.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, that's a good place to start.
You weren't expecting that, but
no, not at all. But okay. Don't tell us why just yet. Right? Don't tell us why just yet. We'll get into the nitty gritty here. Jeff, your initial thoughts?
Because you already know they're different than his initial thoughts.
Yeah.
This is the 5th Fantastic Four movie, kids. And even though this one looks radically different than the last one, which looked radically different from the ones before it, which also looked radically different from the first iteration.
Mm-hmm.
It's a teaser. It didn't look like there was any chemistry amongst the cast. We have yet another mopey thing. Ooh, we haven't seen that before. Another wild and crazy Johnny Storm. Oh boy, we haven't seen that before. There looks like there's zero fucking chemistry between Reed Richards and Sue Storm. And yeah, I mean, maybe you're gonna get me with Galactus. Maybe. Marvel does villains so fucking bad. They've done one good villain in 15 years. Otherwise, every villain they've done has been
them. They've turned him into a good guy.
Right? Thanos is the only good villain that they've ever done.
I thought you were talking about Loki.
Yeah, Loki's like a tweener, right? Like he's not really a bad guy per se, right? Mm-hmm. And Loki still had the Thor movies to flourish, but Marvel prided themselves on putting the focus on the heroes, right? All the way through, always the heroes. So the villains were like just tossaways, and who cares? But then Avengers Endgame and Infinity War came along. Well, we'd already established the hero, so they could spend some time on the villain. And they did, and they built Thanos out, and they gave him these deep feelings and emotions and motivations and shit. And we connected with Thanos weirdly, even though he was the bad guy, right? Thanos did nothing wrong, and all the fucking memes that came out and shit, right? Well, they can't do that in this film because they have to reintroduce the Fantastic Four again. So they're going to have to spend all their time building the heroes again.
Are they
It's just going to be a guy that shows up at the end, and he's the big bad, and they find a way to beat him and fucking roll credits. Who fucking cares?
I don't know. I get the feeling that this is not going to be an introduction story to the Fantastic Four. We're going to drop into the Fantastic Four already being an established group of people, and we're going to see their origin story, I think, as flashbacks, because why would they even bother showing us that whole 4-3 old school TV style, and then you see the launch, and then I think all of that is flashbacks, and we're going to drop into the movie where they're already the Fantastic Four, and they're already established, and they're already in the Baxter building, and
right.
You know what I mean?
You still have to get the people to identify and understand the people that you're talking. Whether you do it with flashbacks or you do it in real time, they're still going to spend. Rob, do you know who the fuck the Fantastic Four are?
But I'm the lowest common denominator here on this.
Yeah, but you're the guy whose ticket money they want. They know they're getting ours. It's you that they need to buy a ticket, right?
Yeah. And it's weird now. Like I said, now I'm back into wanting to see it. The more I watch that trailer, I'm back into wanting to see it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're making it to please the people who are mad they got it wrong the past 4 times. As long as they get it right for the people now who just want to go see an action movie, right?
Well, I don't know necessarily that the first of the Chris Evans, Jessica Alba ones was necessarily wrong. That one was good enough that it did spawn a sequel. Like it made enough money and it was well regarded enough that it spawned a sequel. The sequel even had some elements that we enjoyed, like it introduced the Silver Surfer, and that was really cool. They did our boy Galactus super dirty by turning him into a fucking cloud for whatever weird reason. But, I mean, still overall, that film was even kind of well received as well. Obviously, it didn't make quite enough money to launch a third film, but it certainly did better than that original Roger Corman movie that they made for like $4 million that they only made to secure the rights that was never supposed to see the light of day. And if you've seen that movie, guys, it's so bad. hilariously bad.
Yeah.
The whole budget is $4 million. They spent $3 million on making the thing suit. So they had no money left to film the film. And then the Josh Trank one with Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan and Kate Mara and stuff is just an abomination of a movie. So
this whole story and concept of how they became what they are is terrible to begin with. So I don't really care how they tell it. They just go up in space and get hit with some radiation like we do every fucking day. 365 days a year, and none of us have turned into rocks, but they go up in space, get hit with a solar storm, and now they're all superheroes. Get off my fucking lawn.
Well, they're not turned into superheroes. The radiation turns them into who they are. Right? So Sue feels invisible because Reed always ignores her and passes over her, so she turns invisible.
Oh, that's deep.
Right?
And Reed being a cool guy is such a stretch, so he can stretch his arms out.
Well, I mean, Ben Grimm being brute, thinking that he's ugly and that he's just nobody likes him because he's blah blah blah, or he's a big rock monster.
No, I don't want
right?
Everybody
is a hothead, so he turns into fire.
To the garden, eat mud.
Right. So the soul, it's not even a solar storm. The radiation storm.
Can they control that?
They can't switch. They can't. Reed can only stretch. Right. He can't become invisible.
See, I got to see how that.
Right, they don't switch powers.
Right? So Rob's making the point for me, JS. They can't just drop them in, assuming everybody knows what these guys are all about and what all their powers are. Only the nerds and the geeks know that, right? They've got to appeal to just the guys that don't know to come up and buy their tickets.
Exactly.
They're going to have to spend time building the characters up in this film, because they are launching a new franchise with it, whether we like it or not. You can
spend plenty of time building the characters in the film without telling a 2-hour origin story.
Oh, no, I agree with you. I just mean that they're not going to have enough time to spend on the villain. That's all I'm saying, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, for sure, it is an introduction to this world and these characters, right? So don't think Galactus is going to show up in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
No. I think he's going to show up in the last 10 minutes of the movie.
That's it. And all you see in the trailer is pretty much almost all we see in general.
Yeah. And Andrew Saxon is also saying here, knows how they haven't shown the Silver Surfer either. I don't know that those effects are done. They're still pretty early in post. This doesn't come out for a while still.
Well, teaser. They were honest about that, right?
It's a teaser, right?
It's just full trailer. It's a teaser, right?
So we're gonna see
a cut down version of it for the Super Bowl. A 30-second spot or whatever. So just to note as well, for my deep nerds out there, it is not Norin Rad, the Silver Surfer. No, it is Shalabal, the Silver Surfer, who was Norin's love on his planet, who he didn't want to see killed. That's why he decided to become Galactus's herald, to save his world. So he saved his love, Shalabal, and then he couldn't go back, and it's a whole goddamn thing. But yes, it is not the classic
stuck on
Silver
Earth for a while, and
he gets stuck on Earth for quite some time. Yeah, when he defies Galactus, and there's a whole
really gonna have to simplify this for guys like me.
Yeah. So it's I guess at the end of the day, the point I'm trying to make is it's not a gender swap for gender swap's sake. She's not playing a gender swap version of the Silver Surfer. She's playing another character that has been imbued with the power cosmic and becomes the Silver Surfer, but it's a character that does exist in the comics and stuff. So,
and you also have to understand that this is not in the Prime
universe.
It's not in the sacred timeline.
It's not on the sacred timeline,
right? It's in a different universe where Reed Richard exists and created technology in the 60s that were able to like send them to the moon and go to space and do crazy thing ahead of their time. Right? I guess in the 60s they were already going to space, but the genius in him developed technology early, and that's why I guess everything looks kind of retro 60s, right? This is happening in the Jetsons. 60s. Yeah, it's like the Jetsons, exactly, right? How that's gonna work and how that's gonna then, I mean, obviously Secret Wars is I think what's gonna bring it into.
That reminds me. So I don't know if you guys caught this or saw the same article, but I saw an article where, in the trailer, the one where Reed's, he's writing on the chalkboard and somebody zoomed in and it's a multiverse bridge, they call it, and it shows like a wormhole. So I don't know if that lends any.
The same that Dr. Selvig was working on in the first Thor on the chalkboard.
Eisenberg Rosenbridge.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So that's what Reed is working on his. Now, does that have to do with Galactus? I don't know.
Does it have to do with where they go at the end of the movie? I don't know.
Yeah, the theory. By the way, fan theory. Did you know?
Fan theory. Yeah.
Fan theory, as I keep hearing, is that it's going to be the result of an incursion. That ultimately, that their universe is going to end up being subject to an incursion, and it's going to get destroyed. But they're going to somehow get pulled into the sacred timeline, like the main 616 universe or 19999 or whatever the balls are calling it now, and their universe will cease to exist. And
that's how we just fast track them into our.
That's how we get
our
over
movie
there in the first place.
Yeah.
So, which kind of makes you feel like, I mean, they're doing this whole retro futuristic 60s thing just purely as an aesthetic, and it's an aesthetic I enjoy. I like it, so I'm kind of looking forward to that aspect of it. Like the sets look really groovy and cool if you're into that mid-century modern type thing. I think that looks pretty dope. I'm really shocked they let him keep the mustache.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a mustache guy, but I was convinced it was going to be like when he was in Wonder Woman 84 that they'd have him shave the stash.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and it's kind of weird.
It is.
Not gonna lie, because he just looks like Pedro Pascal, and of course Pedro Pascal is everywhere right now. So I thought they would try to do something to kind of not instantly. He's become one of those actors where, for me, he kind of pulls you out a bit. You're like, oh, it's Pedro Pascal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because he has such a distinctive look and face. Kind of like Nick Cage. Like, you see Nick Cage now, you don't think of him as the character. You just think, oh, hey, look, it's Nick Cage. So I was hoping they'd give a little bit something of a different, but I mean, I don't know. Was he doing The Last of Us at the same? Like, he's dude's in fucking everything. So maybe that's why he had to keep the mustache. They didn't want to have another Justice League on their hands with fucking Superman that's trying to wipe the mustache out. So.
What do you guys think of the Ebon Moss-Backrack casting as Sting?
What? He seemed really wooden. I'm hoping that that's, again, just the teaser, and that he's going to be a little bit more. The Thing has the greatest catchphrase in all of Fantastic. It's clobbering time. Like, the Thing is supposed to be this big, boisterous, loud guy. And in this one, he's like, oh, the spaghetti sauce needs a little more garlic. And I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him as an actor. Actually, he was in The Bear. If you guys don't know who he is, he was Cousin.
I feel like that's why that freaking scene exists with the garlic.
100%. That's why that scene exists. It's a callback to his role. But he was fantastic in that show. I just feel like he doesn't have the voice for... The voice doesn't work for me.
The voice is not what I expected saying to Andrew Saxon.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
I'm not gonna lie.
Some weird choices being made here.
He and who's the guy playing Johnny Storm from Stranger Things?
Whatever
the fuck that guy's name is.
What's his name? Hang on.
He even more than Eben Bosmark, but it feels
Joseph Quinn.
Joseph Quinn. It feels a little stunt casty kind of thing. Like, these guys are like the current hot juicy news, so we want to put them both in. Because I got to be honest, a blonde Joseph Quinn also doesn't give me really good Johnny Storm vibes. Like, he's not like Chris Evans was already going to be tough shoes to fill in the first place, but
but the problem with Chris Evans is he wasn't really Johnny Storm up until he became Johnny Storm. Johnny Storm was a nerd. He was a teenager. Right, Chris Evans made him
the
into
comics
this
you're talking
cool,
about.
Yeah.
Chris
Evans made him into this cool, like, ladies' man, sports car driving. It's like, well, wait a second, like, it's not.
Well, because you've already got a nerd, you've got Reed, right? So they had to have something that was going to play off.
Well,
against that,
but
right?
You know what I mean, right? He's supposed to be a kid, right? A bratty kid, not. I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
They did portray him quite well, I feel like, in the movie. So I don't know that. I hope they don't go that direction.
It looks like they're going to.
Yeah, I hope they don't go that direction. To me, that's a part of the problem with this series is they've changed some core fundamental characteristics of who these characters are, and that doesn't quite work for me.
Well, the problem is you've got to have somebody that's dynamic. Like, Reed's a nerd.
Yeah.
Right. Reed is supposed to be the smartest man on the planet. And apparently the Thing is just this mopey dude because he's all depressed that he's made of rocks now. And then you've got Sue, who clearly is fulfilling, and much like she did in the comics, some sort of a matriarchal style role. Right. So you've got to have somebody that has some level of dynamic something. You can't just have another mopey nerd, right? Like you've got to have.
He's supposed to be a bratty kid, right?
No, I get it, but they clearly aged him up because Joseph Quinn doesn't look like he's 17 years old. He looks like exactly the age he is, right?
Fair enough,
or not, but
I mean, he's probably like in his fucking 30s.
Guys, maybe this is going to be the most fantastic. I'm a huge Galactus fan. I'm a massive Silver Surfer fan. I love the cosmic stuff on the Marvel side. When I collected comics back in the late 80s and early 90s, I collected mostly DC, but the Marvel stuff I collected was a lot of the cosmic stuff. Like I have the entire first run of the Infinity Gauntlet. I have so much of the first run of Silver Surfer. I loved all that shit. So I'm really hoping it's going to be good. I'm not shitting on it because I think it's going to be bad or I'm rooting it for it to be bad. I hope it's amazing, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm how do I say this? I'm
cautiously optimistic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cautiously optimistic.
I can't even say it.
I hope that it's good. I'm like you. I like the aesthetics. I like that if they're gonna do the multiverse, I like that we're seeing not just characters from a different universe. We're seeing a different universe, right? Like to me, this is the way to do the multiverse, right? Not bringing Tobey Maguire and yeah, that was cool. This, I think, is the direction the multiverse should have taken, is seeing different people in different environments. Then if you want to bring them into the sacred timeline or the prime timeline or whatever they want to call it, fine. But I like the idea of seeing another universe, something completely different than what we're used to, and building something from that. I think that's a good way of being able to have a fresh start with potentially new styles, new types of writing. I've been saying this for the longest time. Like I would love to see like a horror Trek or a horror Marvel, or like when you throw different types of things at me within the same world, that to me is way more entertaining than you show me the same thing over and over and over again, and then once a month we're gonna get together and we're gonna fight a bad guy.
And that's what despite me shitting on the aesthetics of this, that's what I think I like about it. Is it's almost giving me hope that Marvel movies in general can change, can be different, can bring new and get me interested again in different ways, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you've got the Marvel Zombies thing coming up soon, the animated series. So hopefully,
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that will give us a new flavor, a new taste of something. Because I got to admit, the What If series really fell off a fucking cliff after the first season.
Yeah, I haven't even watched season 2 and 3. So
season 2 is definitely not as good as season 1, and then season 3 is just like, what? Where you guys had this brilliant concept and you just ruined it. So, anyways, I think we probably chatted enough about the Fantastic Four trailer. We'll see what happens, guys. It comes out literally 2 weeks after Superman, so that's going to be an interesting little head-to-head that's going to happen as well, right? It also comes out in July, so
yeah,
we're going to see.
And the other thing coming out in July too is the new Jurassic Park movie. And wonder which one's going to be the most popular.
Yeah, tell me.
Have you watched? Yeah,
not that one.
Woof.
I don't understand what they're doing. Like, why are they
doing
the same movie over for the 40? Like, this is worse than the Fast and the Furious franchise.
It's because that's what Marvel's been doing for years. That's what it's fast. They just keep making the same movie and people gobble that shit up, man. It's giant fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah,
take my money.
I'm like anybody else. I love dinosaurs just as much as anybody, but
now you've got Scarlett Johansson and giant dinosaurs.
How many times are you going to go back to the island yet?
No, this is a whole other island.
Another
island where only the really bad dinosaurs were kept. These dinosaurs
None
were
of
so
the
bad,
events
we couldn't
from
put them in
any of
the
the
park.
other movies impacts this one.
So we should send people there for medical technology because that makes sense.
Yeah.
God.
Jurassic Snore. I thought I would watch almost anything with Scarlett Johansson in it, but apparently I was wrong. So
yeah, this one looks.
Hey, it's a teaser. Maybe it's going to be good. It could be good. There have been good Jurassic Park movies.
I was watching the trailer.
Of them, anyway.
Yeah.
I was watching the trailer, and it took me like halfway through the trailer to realize that it was Scarlett Johansson. That's how bad it was. Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, wait,
oh, no,
what?
I know that
That's
Scarlett. Don't you worry about that. I loved Rob's reactions. Like, why the fuck is Black Widow in this? I'm like, it's not.
It's weird, bud. It's weird. Alrighty.
Dinosaurs being called the D-Rex is suggestive as hell. I mean,
the dinosaur being called the D-Rex. Yeah,
I think that says more about you than it does about them. Anyways.
Well,
hey, speaking of Myers Corp cosplay,
I think it's time for Cosplay Corner. Folks, over the last couple of weeks, we've been featuring some cosplayers from the local cosplay community, and we've been trying to keep it to, or at least for the first few, we've been trying to really focus on the cosplayers that they're not just cosplayers. They have an impact on the community. They're involved. They do things, and when we talk about cosplayers that are involved in the community, I think that it'd be very, very hard and we'd be very remiss to pass over and not talk about a great friend of the Geek Boutique podcast. I'd like to think this person is the person that has been a featured guest on the podcast more times than anybody else. That's right. 14 times alumni, Mr. Myers Corp Cosplay.
5 time.
Mr. Myers Corp Cosplay. Guys, if you're not following Michael Myers on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. If you've not checked out his podcast, what the fuck? We were just on a couple weeks ago.
The Monday Night Nerd every Monday.
We always have a good time when we're on the Monday Night Nerd.
I think I watched
both of the times. Yeah.
More than our podcast, but
you've watched his podcast more than our podcast.
I mean, I'm on our.
Is that
podcast,
what you just said?
And I watch his podcast all the time.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't really go back and rewatch our podcast either, but yes. Yeah. I find myself watching his podcast more than I watch our own as well. That's right.
So fucking sad.
So obviously Michael has a podcast of his own. Mike is also very, very involved and volunteers at a lot of different cons. I want to say Niagara,
Hamilton.
You know what? I know he's in the chat. Maybe you can let us know all the different cons that you've been or you've volunteered at. Michael usually works on
for the last 18 years.
Yeah, like the celebrity area. He usually works the lineups there. Pretty Nerdy Crystal says the best friend ever.
Yeah, Myers Corp saying they like me. They really like me. Well, I mean, let's sure.
We felt you were worthy of.
Let's settle down. We want people to recognize your efforts and how cool you are, but I don't know if like is a strong word for sure. Yeah, dude. I mean, talk about like beefing up for the community. Yeah, the Monday Night Nerd, telling it like it is. A lot of the times it's just Mike talking to the camera on his own. I think he's up in the 80s now, episode count wise, and the vast majority of it's been that. And then all the work that he does. Oh, hey, look, those fucking nerds. Like it's a strong word, Andrew Saxon. Yeah, I mean, it's Mike. He knows that fucking The Dark Knight. I mean, he lost me. Everything was off. I was ready to be like super best friend. Ready to be super best friends with that dude. And as soon as he's like, The Dark Knight is the worst comic book movie ever, I'm like, fuck this guy. But hey, he's our cosplay feature of the
week. You're never gonna let him live that down, right?
He should. I hope. You know what? That was gonna get way dark. No.
Settle down.
Not doing that. Yeah, we're gonna pull that back a little bit.
Myers Corp cosplay and podcast host. He used to be called Myers Corp Creation, and he came on the show, and we kept calling him Myers Corp Cosplay. and then he came on the show a second time, and then we did it to him again, and then he's like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna change my name."
I guess that's what it is now.
And he changed his name to Myers Corp Cosplay from Myers Corp.
That's the kind of influence the Geeks and Company have. We'll fuck up your name so bad you have no choice but to take it.
Exactly.
Niagara and Hamilton for the past decade, as Myers saying, and our the Queen herself, Queen Harleen, he just might be contributing to TGE, the Toronto Game Expo. So very, very cool. Spilling some beans there. Ooh. Jeff's called me worse behind my back. Sir, I've called you worse to your face. Come on, man. I'm not saying it behind your back.
It's like you're saying spoilers. Spoilers for what?
Spoilers.
Spaliers.
Spaliers? Oh, Spaliers.
Spaliers. Still keep it drinking?
Silky.
Spaliers. By the way, Silky, can we talk about what you're wearing in your YouTube profile picture there? What am I seeing? You look like you're at Carnival in like Brazil or something like that. What's Rio de Janeiro? What's happening there? That is quite the outfit you got going on.
Yes, Silky's going to be helping us out with probably taking some of these interactions that we have here during our live podcast and turning them into
Spaliers is not going away anytime soon.
Spaliers is not going away. I hope that makes the next reel. That because Spaliers, woof. What is a Spalier?
I don't know. I assume it's similar to spilling the beans. Carnival in Toronto last summer. There you go. I knew it was some sort of a Carnival thing. So that's very, very cool. Awesome.
Excellent.
If you would like to be featured on the Cosplay Corner, too bad. We pick it. Fuck you. If you would like to be a guest on the show, though, which we're going to talk about here in a moment, if you would like to be a guest on the show, it feels like it's been a long... Remember when we pretty much had a guest on every week?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done that in some time. So hopefully next week we will have a guest on the show. Rob, do you want to talk about next week's guest now that we're towards the end of the podcast?
Yeah, sure. So, how do I go? Thanks for putting me on the spot. I wasn't expecting.
Well, listen, there's a local.
You suggested that we leave it towards the end. So I'm like, hey, and you're being the one that's been in contact with the individual. So I figure you should be the one to address it.
Yeah. So, I've been seeing this person in the community for a long time. Never actually really had a chance to speak to them. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, I know who you are, you know who I am as you pass by, but finally broke the ice and asked her if she'd like to come on. And she was interested. So we are going to have Saphira Cosplay come on the Geeks and Company next week. Hopefully if everything works out. And we're going to talk to her and find out what she's all about. Everybody here probably has also seen her or follows her. She does all kinds of cool stuff. Obviously she does makes her own cosplay. She's very big into competitions, 3D printing. She does her own streaming on Twitch, runs a Discord server that puts ours to shame. She's quite a busy woman. So we're going to talk to her next week and see what she's all about.
An actual guest, guys. Geez, fine. I'll be back on the show. Myers Corp Cosplay says, "No, sir, we still lead you like 27-2. You got some catching up to do. You got to get us back on yours a few more times before you come back on ours."
I think before we go, I think it's time for the usual, just the tip.
God, we're idiots. Why does anybody tune into this fucking podcast?
We're funny idiots, aren't we? Guys, I'll say this. For the people that do make their own cosplays or that make their own things and this and that, I'm not going to tell you how to do your stuff, right? You build your things the way you build them. You paint the way you paint them. I will say this, every time we work on a project, and me and Rob were just doing this last weekend, you get to a project, you get your paint job done, and your thing looks all nice and shiny. But then it doesn't look real, right? Because it's all nice and shiny. It just looks like, you just painted a piece of plastic. How do you make it look real? You weather it. You make it look old and beaten up. And that's when you start throwing paint at it and black washes and rust and all that garbage. That's when your things really start coming alive because they start looking real. Now, let me tell you something. When you're doing these, when you're weathering, you're always going to go through the stage of, oh, I'm not sure that this looks good. Oh, fuck, I just ruined it. Oh, shit, this actually worked out. Trust the process, right? There's a ton of YouTube videos on weathering. There's a ton of different techniques to weathering, depending on what you're doing. Weathering will make the biggest difference in the world in your builds. You'll go from something that looks like it was built to looking like something that's real life thing. Now, if you're weathering for a con, for when people are looking at them, or if you're weathering for a photo shoot, very, very different techniques. If you'd like to know more about weathering, how that happens, how we do it, let us know. Maybe we can make a couple of videos on how our weathering process works. But if you're not weathering your stuff, do some research. Go to YouTube, look into weathering, because let me tell you something. It will take your builds from being cool to actually looking like they're real.
Yeah, it makes the difference. Definitely.
what they said.
Tiffany's saying this is the only podcast I can sit through. I mean, I'm
wow, really?
Oh, wow, that's thank you for the compliment.
Raise your standards, girl.
Keith is saying the community news intro. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Yeah.
Thanks, Yoda.
Money.
Oh, look at that. Sophia Cosplay is saying, I see my name in the chat. Hi. Sorry, dealing with a toddler meltdown.
Did we say her name 3 times? Is she like Candyman? Is that how this works? You say her name 3 times?
We said her name and she just appeared. Yeah, so we were just announcing that you're going to be on the show next week. But thanks for joining us. I can't believe we're at the end of the show and we still got this many people live and chatting right now. I don't know what this means. I don't know if I want to read that. I live in the oh fuck it stage. Okay.
I live in the oh fuck I ruined it stage.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, it really is one of those things where it truly feels like you've ruined it, but you have to trust the process. It's all part of it. Every layer adds something to what you're doing. And the more you do, the more you bring out details that otherwise wouldn't be there. I think we need to do a video over the next little while specifically on different weathering techniques.
Yeah, I laugh just thinking about the different ways we've weathered stuff, right? Depending on what it is you're trying to weather. Like you could be out there on the road, like shuffling your feet across a piece of clothing type of thing.
I've done that.
Running it over with your car.
Strapping it to a car and like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I've taken like palm sanders to friggin' clothes and
fire, like setting
fires, setting
it, burning little pieces.
Andre saying would love to see these weathering vids. You know what? Maybe we do that. Maybe we do a couple of different videos on different weathering techniques. You know, see what we can do for you guys. We do have some new videos coming your way though. I don't know when they're going to come out, but we're going to be filming some content. I want to say new content, but is it new content?
I mean,
it's new episodes of existing content.
Yeah,
I guess. Whoa! Okay. Jeff is playing with his colors there. You went all red for a second, and then all green for a second, and woof! I don't know what's going on, but fucking party going on over there.
Fucking party on a Thursday night at 8:18 p.m. in my basement by myself.
Hey, by the way, I'll get about 8 p.m. on a basement by yourself. Tomorrow hopefully this time you won't be in your basement all alone.
I'll be there. I'll be at that guy's
tied
place.
Up in my basement. Yeah.
That's right. Tied up. Don't say anything about being tied up.
What?
Fuck. I'm not saying no. I just like to establish some boundaries and maybe a safe word. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying no. Jeff playing with his Hulk pallets. Yeah, exactly. Would love to see some weathering vids. Yeah, guys, these guys are the makers. So tell them what you want to see, and they'll make sure they show it to you. So
yeah, we'll do some weathering.
I can show you me hitting buy it now on a website. I can absolutely do that because that's all I do. But,
even then, you should, in some cases, weather what you buy on the website.
I should. I won't, but I should.
Yeah,
I keep saying I'm going to weather my Wolverine, and I'm just like,
I mean, we can help you with that.
I know you can. Maybe I'll bring it with me. Maybe that's what you guys can film testing your weathering techniques on. I'll bring Wolverine with me, and we can weather Wolverine.
I'm not sure we're going to have time to film that this weekend.
Oh, suddenly it's all of a sudden.
We got a lot of other stuff.
Listen, we're not.
We got a lot of other stuff we're going to be filming this weekend.
Spicy stuff.
Spicy. All right, guys, get us the hell out of
here.
Oh,
it's going to get spicy, all right.
Old man's got to go to bed.
Folks, for everybody that's still watching, thank you very much. Please make sure you click that like and subscribe button. It really, really helps us out. If you click the notification bell, it'll always let you know when we go live. I do think, however, that will be it for this week. Any final words? Nope. Thanks, everybody. Make sure you stay geeky, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Geek Boutique Podcast. Like always, if you prefer to listen to us, you can find us on all major podcast platforms. Now, make sure you don't forget to click that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to make sure you never miss anything. Let's see how long we keep going live here.